Hello, it's Doris with All the Books. This is a catch-up video. I missed Friday reads yesterday because I just wasn't in a filming mood. I have not been in a filming mood since June started, but today I felt a little more in the mood, but not quite there, but I'm going to do it anyway. Yesterday I took my kid to orientation and registration at his university. It was a very long day, but quite exciting and exhausting, but more exciting. We had a good time together, and it's just really cool thinking about him in that college atmosphere. I loved college, loved it. So I hope that he has a really good college experience. He wasn't much of a joiner in high school, but I've really been encouraging him to take advantage of the social experience in college with clubs and whatnot, especially since he's currently planning on majoring in something in the business arena where that's going to be more important with his resume in the future. So anyway. It's already random, this video. So I gotta do my Friday reads. I haven't done my TBR talk yet. And BookTube prize announcement came out. So yeah, let's just get to it. So when I left you, I was on the way to Florida. We went there for Gabriel's graduation party with the family, and then my sister took us to St. Augustine for Gabriel's little graduation trip with her, and I can't believe I'd never been. It was amazing. I loved St. Augustine. Highly recommend. Very charming, historic city, touristy, but in a really good way with, Florida seafood and just rich in history. I can't emphasize that enough. Just a broad spectrum of history. So anyway, very diverse history actually. So anyway, but when I left you to go to Florida, I had 4 books that we all laughed about in the moment because we knew it was going to happen. Not going to happen. It did not happen. Spoiler alert. So my thought was that I could read 3 of these and start the 4th. So I read 1 and continued 1 and started a 3rd. So The Last Butterflies, A Scientist's Quest to Save a Rare and Vanishing Creature by Nick Haddad. This was really good. It is, I think, focused on 6 extremely rare butterflies in, I think all of them are in North America. And he says that is more because that's where his experience lies. He talks about the various reasons why they are rare, and he kind of ranks them to decide which one is the most rare based on statistical analysis, not only the quantity of butterflies that are more or less in nature from year to year, but also the pockets of butterflies, because obviously you can have a few butterflies, but if they're only one population, that's also problematic. And then he talks about a species that went extinct in Great Britain and how they reestablished it from a side species, subspecies, and then the monarchs, which are declining rapidly. So very interesting. I will say that this is more straightforward science writing, so not maybe quite as engaging if you are more of a lay reader. He doesn't embellish to it to make it more interesting, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I learned a lot from that. It's really good. I started Seeds by Thor Hansen. The Triumph of Seeds, I should say. How grains, nuts, kernels, pulses, and pips conquered the plant kingdom and shaped human history. So I've barely started this, but this one is written for the lay reader. It is quite charming and engaging, but also packed with information and pictures, which I always appreciate a few pictures in my books. So yeah, going to enjoy that. I read another Thor Hansen, I think the Bee book. It's not in here. Yeah. Buzz? I think Buzz is the Bee book over there. And I have Feathers on my shelf that I also need to read. And apparently there's one about gorillas. So he's a great writer. Highly recommend. And then I continued The Age of Wonder, How the Romantic Generation Discovered the Beauty and Terror of Science by Richard Holmes. So I thought that this might be interesting because, you know, science. I think that I assumed that it was The Naturalists, which is my jam, because there are a lot of naturalists, in the, I don't know if this isn't strictly the Victorian era, but it leads into, so whatever that era is prior to the Victorian. Joseph Banks in Paradise is 1769 is how it starts. However, there's a lot more science in this era or eras, different branches of science, which I really appreciate that. I do appreciate that. However, I find astronomy hella boring. Sorry. So I think I would have appreciated a more abbreviated narrative of that. So he kind of goes on and on about this brother and sister duo, which I find really interesting. I thought that was going to be more interesting than it ended up being. But, you know, the fact that it's the brother-sister duo and that the little sister, she's, I think, 12 years younger than her older brother. He is the astronomer, but she becomes his assistant and almost definitely an apprenticeship role, but she's a woman, so she can't be an apprentice. But she becomes just vital to him and then moves on to discover a lot. She's very good at discovering comets. He invents like huge telescopes. So I really appreciated the knowledge base and the fact that he spotlights her so much, and, you know, just knowing that there was a woman that was so instrumental in the development of astronomy. I just find astronomy itself hella boring. And there's a Victorian book by Thomas Hardy that I meant to show you. Let me just go get it. That I thought it was super interesting that I think it pulls from these two people in here, the brother-sister duo. So, Two on a Tower, and this is like somewhat of a romance, and I really didn't enjoy this. There were a couple of just brilliant passages in here that were just gorgeous, but it went downhill after that. The relationship was so stupid. Herschel is the family name of the astronomers. And then there's a chapter on hot air balloons, which reminded me of, I was trying to find the Herschels for you. Oh, here they are. William and Carolyn. So that was cute. I'm sorry, this is going to be probably a long and rambling video, but it's been a while, so that's okay, right? Where's this book? Oh, here it is. Oh. Washington Black by S.C. Adudian, which I really enjoyed this. I thought this was so... I would totally reread this. But yeah, hot air balloons. So this paralleled really nicely. So I'm enjoying the knowledge base in this book. And I kind of toyed, like, briefly, for like 30 seconds, I toyed with the idea of DNFing it, but the nerd in me is just like, no, because I want to know. So now I'm in Mungo Park in Africa. So I'm right at the halfway point, and I am pretty sure that this section is a naturalist. So that will, you know, work more for me. So there's a hot air balloon. Let's see if there's a Mungo Park image. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting, super interesting stuff. And hopefully this next section will pick up the pace for me. And then Monster of God, The Man-Eating Predator in the Jungles of History and the Mind by David Quammen. Yeah, I didn't start it. Okay, so there's that. Then I have made progress in, I read Melman in Parliament. Okay, so move my bookmark. I've made progress in The Way We Live Now by Anthony Trollope. I do think I wanted to finish it in May, but I didn't. I think I wanted to finish in February, but I didn't. But I'm getting closer. Definitely, I'm going to finish it in June. Definitely. 100%. And then, I apologize in advance. I'm not going to show cute little images of these books that I'm reading digitally because, you know, did I tell you I'm going to get margaritas after this? I can't remember. So, yeah. Kind of like making myself get this video up just to be caught up. I think once I get caught up, then I'll be more in a filming mood. But yeah, I thought, you know, I'm ready to go out in public, so I should, you know, film the video, but I can't wait till after because the blackberry margaritas are pretty potent at Margarita House, so there's that. Anyway, so I am still reading the new Ed Yong. I will remember to type these ones that I'm not showing you. I'll type them down below. So I've not made any progress on the Ed Yong on NetGalley, but I got another one. It's an Einstein graphic novel. I'll type it below. I'm actually toying with the idea of DNFing that one because I don't like the way it is. Like, I love reading graphic novels, nonfiction ones, because I like absorbing nonfiction that way in a shorter, abbreviated timeline. But this one is, number one, very info dumpy, and number two, the personal aspects of Einstein's life they don't have good segues, so sometimes you don't even know what's going on. So yeah, it's not well pulled together. I do like a lot of the artist style. So some of the people are a little off. Okay, so it's not my favorite. Moving on. And then the BookTube prize. So I started the Little Devil in America. I think that's the title of it. I'll type it below. So I've got like 7 books on the go right now. Did I tell you about all of them? Okay, so the 2 NetGalleys, 2 the Anthony Trollope Seeds, Age of Wonder, the BookTube prize. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what the other one is. Oh, the Robin Hobb. The Robin Hobb. We don't need to talk about that because I haven't done anything in it. Okay, so I don't know. Like, I've been reading mostly just a couple books at a time and power reading, and now all of a sudden I'm reading 7, and I'm supposed to be reading 8 because I was supposed to check in with my buddies, my history buddies, on 1776 by David McCullough yesterday, but that hasn't happened. I'm gonna do it today, guys. Karen and Heidi and Patrice. It's gonna happen today. After the margaritas. So BookTube prize. Okay, BookTube prize. So that came out. I really don't have any commentary on the fiction or translated fiction because I'm just have not engaged with fiction this year. So I just am not knowledgeable enough to comment. The nonfiction was mostly fun. I'm really happy with the group that I got. I had already read 3 of them, and I'm starting the 4th, as I mentioned. So pretty happy with that. I was very disappointed in the nature writing. Only one went through, which I will talk about in a minute. So, you know, what can you do? People like what they like. Okay, so my group, and I'm just going to mention these super briefly because I read them a month ago. But this is an unpopular opinion. I put Somebody's Daughter in 6th place. It was good, and it's a memoir. It's kind of a young Black girl coming of age, difficult family life. There's rape, and there is her father who's been incarcerated basically her whole growing up years, and how she reconnects with him, and it's very impactful. So the story itself and the things that happen are very gripping, very important narrative to be exposed to. I really felt for her. There is one scene involving the rape that is just really powerfully written, but overall the writing style of the book was very basic and simplistic, and it just didn't engage me emotionally or intellectually. So I had trouble pacing with it, meaning that when a book is slow like that, for me mentally, or the writing style, I skim read. So I just found myself wanting to be done, which, you know. And then number 5 was The Right to Sex, and I'll type all these down below as well. The Right to Sex was not a Doris book. Okay, just no. I don't like reading about sex stuff quite often. It's not my thing. So this one, I learned more about pornography than I ever wanted to know. I wanted to scrub my eyeballs when I was done. But that being said, it was a very important narrative. I appreciated her intersectionality with feminism. So there was good stuff in it. It was just not for me. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I think it was important that I know a lot of the stuff in there, but there was a lot that I was just like, too much. 4th place was Orwell's Roses. So this one was a book that should have really been a Doris book. It was intellectual. There was a lot of nature writing in it, a lot of societal issues. I just felt like she missed the mark with the content. So it was very erratic. She talked about some Orwell stuff historically. She talked about some of his political stances. She talked about roses botanically. She talked about capitalism involving roses. But I just felt like she didn't pull it all together. It was just choppy, choppy. And, you know, maybe it was meant to be that way because I guess it was essays, but I felt like there was the opportunity for her to tie these threads together and make a powerful statement, and I just didn't feel like she got there. So it was a miss for me. Number 3, I mean, I shouldn't say that, because nonfiction books are never really a miss for me because I like knowing things. So I learned a lot and appreciated it, but just as a whole, it missed the mark. And then Smile, I think this is also an unpopular opinion. This was the other memoir in my group, and this one was a woman who had Bell's palsy after the birth of her twins, and she was one that never fully recovered, but she did, through extensive research on her own part and just constant work and trying different things, researching, she improved. And this one was a book that really engaged me intellectually. There was a lot of language and literary connections and just extraneous philosophical thoughts that just kept me mentally engaged. And the trajectory, I thought she had a story arc that made sense. So it just really worked for me. And I know, you know, story arc with nonfiction maybe is a no-no, but it worked. It worked. What she said thematically really engaged and completed, and I liked it. So there's that. Okay, the last two were both brilliant. I probably could have flipped a coin as to my top spot. I may have. I don't remember. It was a month ago. But they were Under a White Sky and How the Word is Passed. So I ended up putting Under a White Sky in second place, but it is a book on how man has altered his environment and how we as a society and scientists are currently working to come up with ways to reverse the things we've done to our climate, our earth, our nature. So yeah, it was super interesting. So many things I had never even heard of. So just mind-opening for me. And you know, I love science and nature, so it was my jam, totally. And I appreciate the positive tone because climate change is a huge topic in the last several years. And some of them, like most of them, just really weigh me down. It's important to know, and it's true, it's happening, but this one had a positive tone, things that we're trying. So, I mean, that just made me feel better. So, I liked it a lot. And then the other one, How the Word is Passed, was just freaking brilliant. Clint Smith looks at different geographical spots globally and talks about slavery and colonialism and segregation, racism, suppression, based on these different, you know, plantations and locations, historic sites, Monticello, hello. It's just it's so, I can't think of the word. I mean, it's just brilliant. But he's not antagonistic. He's very engaging with people, and I think his approach is just so good, so good. And I had just read Robert E. Lee and Me by, you know, I'll type it below. But the pairing of those two books is absolutely brilliant, because Robert E. Lee and Me has the same style of approach, but from a white man's perspective. Clint Smith is an African-American perspective, and they're just so good. And the two books work in tandem to tell this story, mostly here in America. And so if you've read one or the other, I highly recommend that you read they speak. So read those two. If you haven't read either, read them both. They're so good. So I think that's it for that. We're at 26 minutes. What time is it? It's 11:35. I guess I should be done and do the TBR top part tomorrow. So yeah, let's do that. Okay. Margarita's ahead. So thanks so much for watching. I will type in the description box the books I didn't show you. And I'll be back soon, because I gotta do I wanted to be caught up today, but I'm not. Okay. It's okay. Chat soon. Bye. Disturbing the peace. Oh my God, there's two. Oh, for the love. Oh my God. Bird. Guy. Oh, the indignity. Oh my Lord. Moo defends you. You want Moo to protect you? She ready. Good job, Moo. Good job. Well, I have not made a to-do list yet, but my piles are dwindling on my table. And that's the last pile. But you can see I got a napper on it. So wow. That's the way to live right there. Maybe I should take a nap.